Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the album Screams in the Night by the band Hellion. This is their first full-length album, and it was released in 1987. So, before I get into the songs, I'm going to name off the band members really quick. It's odd. It doesn't say who's on what. I don't know. Alex Campbell, Anne Boleyn, Chet Thompson, and Greg Pecca. I don't know about the other band members. Of course, Anne Boleyn is the vocalist. But like I said, even though there's band member credits, it doesn't say, who does what. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway. So, the album starts off with the title track, Screams in the Night. What a great opener. It starts off with this really cool, sort of fast-paced, kind of almost galloping riff, kinda. And it's just a very cool, fast-paced song. It kind of feels, kind of like an epic song. Not super epic, but it kind of has that slight feel to it. And also, it has a pretty cool, very energetic guitar solo as well. Just very, it has a bit of a, I want to say there's a whammy bar used in this solo, but I can't quite tell. But it does feel like a partial whammy bar style solo, but it's still really, really good. Again, very energetic, fits the rest of the tone of the song very, very well. And Anne Boleyn's vocals on this song are also amazing. So unlike, most of the songs on their debut EP, on this song, she uses more of a higher register, instead of like a guttural rasp, she does more of a high-pitched banshee shriek. And it works very, very well, on this song. And it just gives the song more of an edge to it, I guess. But yeah, Screams in the Night is great. So the next song is called Bad Attitude, and Bad Attitude is also really good. This is a song that actually kind of would definitely fit their debut EP. It's sort of more of like a very aggressive, sort of like nasty, gritty sounding song. Again, Anne Boleyn is a little bit more of her higher register on this song as well, but also has like a grit to her vocals. Now it's not full grit and gruff, it's not full grit and gruffness like the vocals on the debut EP, but she still has that grit to it while again singing more in her higher register. Also, this one has another great solo work, and again another really cool, really interesting riff. And again, it's a great song, and it also feels like something that would be at home on their debut EP. The next song is my favorite song on the album, Better Off Dead. This is super cool. It's not a very, complicated thing. It's a simple song, but done very, very well. It has a really amazing, layered riff, that sort of builds on top of, note after note after note. And then, it pays off into an amazing guitar solo. Kind of like with the solo on the previous, the first song, Screams in the Night. Very cool. It kind of has a whammy bar-ish kind of thing to it, so it's sort of it's not a full whammy bar solo, but it does sound like it includes a whammy bar, so it's like a partial whammy bar solo. But this one, unlike the solo on the first song, has a bit more melody. It's a bit more melodic, especially near the end, where the solo transitions very well from the solo to the main riff again, but also at the same time, there's sort of that weird intersection where the solos transitioning into the main riff, but it also still is a solo at the same time. It's very interesting and it sounds very, very cool. But yeah, Better Off Dead is just an amazing song, and it's my favorite song on the album. The next track is a very out-of-place, weird guitar solo. It's called Upside Down Guitar Solo, and it's very odd. It's not bad, but it is very out of place, because it just comes out of nowhere. Like, it's not even a solo in a song, it's just a random solo, just there for some reason. But here's the thing, you would expect something like that on a live album, where they, like, stop, the track, they stop playing songs for a second, maybe do an extended drum solo or extended guitar solo. But to have, I almost knocked that over, but to have an extended guitar solo randomly in the middle of a track listing on a studio album, it's just weird. Now, it's not long, it is relatively short, but it's just out of nowhere, and it's just, again, I don't like it, not because it's a bad solo, but just because, again, it's out of place, and just very weird. But, yeah, honestly, this could have been cut. It could have been left off the album, or it could have been inserted into another song, and it would have sounded, and it would have been fine, but having just a random solo on its own, with no song around it, just is kind of weird. The next song is called The Hand. This one is amazing as well. It starts off with a weird, almost Arabian-ish kind of opening riff, and then it goes into the main riff, and it's a very cool song. I wouldn't say it's as good as the ones before it, but it's still pretty good. You get a really cool, just another kind of layered riff on this one. The riff sort of builds off itself. Another really cool guitar solo. Another one like Better Off Dead, where it's kind of melodic in a way. And of course, Anne Boleyn's vocals, amazing. The next song is kind of where the album dips down in quality very quickly. The next song is called Explode, and it is the most generic, just very generic and forgettable song on the entire album. Like, I've listened to this album probably 20 or more times since I've got it, and I still can't really, and I just listened to it just before this review, and I still can't remember pretty much anything about this song. Like, even some of the other songs that I don't really like on here, I still remember, but Explode is just so damn generic and forgettable that I just can't remember it. Yeah, worst song on the entire album. And like I said, the album goes downhill from here, though, unfortunately. Put the Hammer Down starts off interestingly, but just doesn't go anywhere. Stick'em is a very odd sort of instrumental that's super short and just not very... it doesn't stick with you. Despite the title Stick'em, Stick'em doesn't stick with you, it's just forgettable. Children of the Night. This one kind of feels like Screams in the Night Part 2, but it's just not as good. And again, just like with a lot of the or most, if not all, the songs in Side 2, completely forgettable. There's some interesting guitar work, on a solo bit, but that's really about it, honestly. And then Tower of Air is probably my second least favorite song other than Explode. I remember the song on, Explode, but it's a very droning type song. It's just, flat, I guess, in a way. It doesn't build up to anything. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just the same sort of a very boring, bland riff over and over and over and over again, with a very, very weak, uninspired guitar solo. And even Anne Boleyn on this song doesn't sound like she's very interested in the song. she doesn't sound like she's just, it just, everyone involved, honestly, just sounds, on this song, just sounds very uninspired and just sort of just going through the motions, really. And unfortunately, that's where the album ends. Alright, so before I get to my final thoughts and my verdict, I just want to talk about the artwork really quick, or I guess almost the lack thereof. So, this logo is very interesting. Now, here, not my favorite version of the logo. I'd say my favorite version of the logo is on the self-titled EP, but this is still pretty cool. It's sort of like, it's supposed to be like made of fire, and like someone like somehow put words in the fire, or not put words in the fire, but took like a torch or something and sort of like wrote with it like it's a pen or something. It looks pretty cool, pretty unique as well. And then in the background you get like this scythe there that looks like it's being punctured by a sunbeam or something. As you can see here, it's like a sunbeam sort of like burning through the scythe blade, sort of letting out this little thing of smoke. Pretty cool. And then over there you can see the title of the album. On the back, it's nothing that interesting. It's just a picture of the band members, as well as the track listing. Also, this is a promo copy, so that's why there's a little puncture mark here. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Will record companies stop ruining the covers of albums by punching a hole through it or putting a slit in it to mark it as a promo copy? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like literally any other non-destructive way of marking something as a promo copy, other than, like ruining the actual case. I know, it's a personal gripe of mine, but I really hate how they, mark things as promo copies like that, how they just damage a case like that. Anyway, so overall, another thing I really want to talk about is the production. While not bad, it definitely is not up to par with the production on their debut EP. Or at least the version of the debut EP that I own, the 6-track version that was a re-release. The production on that was actually good. It was raw, but at the same time it wasn't, so overly raw or anything. It was a good mix of raw, but also kind of like confined enough and like cleaned up enough. I don't know. It was just a very good production, more or less. It was raw, but it still had it still had some tightness and cohesion. This one is so raw. Now, again, albums that are so raw can sound good, but in cases like this, it's so, like, the cohesion isn't there. Like, it's raw, but it's also all over the place, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. The production is just so not lackluster, but so chaotic and just so all over the place that at times it sounds good, at times it doesn't. I don't know if it's just because this is a promo copy. I mean, maybe, perhaps, the version that went out to most people that's, not the promo copy, but, the more streamlined version, whatever you call it, the non-promo copy, maybe the production on that sounds better. But at least from the version that I have, this promo copy, the production is raw, but it's also, like I said, just all over the place, and sometimes it's just very inconsistent. Now, and then the other issue I have, like I said before, honestly, the second half is just so damn forgettable. I don't know how this happened. You start off great with Screams in the Night, Bad Attitude, Better Off Dead, and The Hand. and then it just drops. Like I said, everything else is pretty forgettable. Now, I really think this album could have been an EP. They could have had just the first 4 songs and have it as a 4-track EP, like they did the original version of the self-titled EP. But they didn't. They went for a full-length album, and I think that's that one decision is probably what hurts this album the most, is that most of it isn't that good. Just the first 4 tracks. And if it was an EP, it would have been a great EP, because it was a 4-track EP and those first 4 tracks are just so damn good. Honestly, I'm very mixed about how I want to rate this album. Because, again, the first 4 tracks are so good. So good, but the second half, how am I going to rate this? I guess I'll give it a 7.8 out of 10. I was gonna give it a little bit lower, but like I said, there is some good here. There's some great stuff. But yeah, this album is very lacking in a lot of ways. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.6 out of 10. Did I say 7.6 or 7.7? 7.6, I guess. But yeah, honestly, very disappointing, but at the same time, like I said, the first 4 tracks are really, really good. But yeah. So that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.